let's go to the second one, which is the pre-requirements for you to access the Google Classroom. So what are the pre-requirements? For the first type of access is that you need to have a Google account. So the Google account will give you the access to the Google Classroom, the YouTube is optional, and Google Drive and all the other Google services. The second type of access is Google Apps for Education. This is when you have a school institution that have their own website and their own domain. This gives you the same types of accesses such as the normal email, but when you use the Google Classroom, it will be integrated much easier with your student domain and institution website. And this will give the students and institution email inside the Google Classroom. So there's no need for you to collect their own private emails to add to your own Google Classroom. Okay, now let's go to the setting up of our Google Classroom. But so there are 7 steps to your Google Classroom, which are signing, creating a class, how to navigate the classroom, what are the classroom settings, how to enroll students, how to change your class look and feel, and the changes that happen in your Google Drive provided you made a Google Classroom. I will go through these slides first, and when I have done all these slides, I will do a practical hands-on session where you can see me create a new class from scratch. Let's start with the first step, which is signing in. So signing in is quite simple. You can sign in with either your own private Google account or you use your institution Google account that you have set up for G Suite for Education. I will explain more about G Suite for Education later on when we do the practical hands-on session. Second one is how to create a classroom. Number one, when you enter the Google Classroom, once you have logged in, there will be a plus button on the top right screen of you, on the top right corner of your screen. And when you click that plus button, there are 2 options will pop up, which is either join class or create class. In create class, this is for teachers to create their own classes. And for join class, there will be another pop-up for students to join using their teacher's class code. Second one, after you click create class, there will be a new pop-up called create class details. There are a few, one mandatory section that you need to fill up, which is class name. The other sections are the section 1, subject and room. Section here usually means like either their form, maybe also can put short description, their grades, things like that. Second one is subject. This is self-explanatory. It means the subject is maths, science, history, or English, whatever you want. A room, this might seem a bit confusing at first, but what this means is that in a normal school setting where people go to school without fear of COVID, this means the room in their physical classroom. So let's say second floor, first room, just put it there if you want. All these other details are optional except for the class name, which you need to create that class. Second one is the classroom navigation. You can see this on the top left corner of your screen. Later on, I'll show you. In there, there's a 3 stack lines option, or as I like to call it, a hamburger icon. When you click this, a few options will show up, which will show you the classes that you have, the calendar, the to-do list, which is basically a review of your classes and whatever assignments that students haven't turned in, and then your class. Finally, the settings for your notification. And this is the other one, which is when you open the classroom, there are a few options. The first is stream. This is basically a main timeline for your classroom. So any announcement that you made will be displayed here. So, and anytime you create an assignment or quiz also will also be displayed here. You can also let the students interact here with their post if you set the option to do so. Now the second one is this classwork, the classwork section. This is the page where you can assign the work, where you can create topics and create quizzes for your students to answer And this is also where you can see the students' progress and whether or not you have graded their work or written it. Next, the third one is the people. This is the list of teachers and students displayed in the Google Classroom. So there is two sections in the people, which is teachers and students. You can invite more teachers to your Google Classroom if you want. Just invite them using the plus button here, and you can invite them personally through email. Or if you have Google Ads for education, you just search by their name and they'll show up. Same as the students, just click the plus button here, and or you can invite your students through class code. So if you if you have multiple students that you want to invite but don't want to invite them personally, just use the class code and give them through WhatsApp group or anything. The last one is grades. So basically here is just all the students' grades and averages are displayed. This right now is empty, but once an assignment has been filled up, you can see all the students' progress of their work here. Okay, now let's go to the classroom setting. This is different from the navigation setting that I've shown earlier. This is specifically for classroom detail. You can see the class details here. You can change, let's say you want to change the name of your classroom from class alpha to class beta. Just do it here. But also provide a short description here for your classroom. Next. So, hello. Could you please turn off your microphone? Because I think it's a bit too loud. Okay, now let's go to the general setting, which means you can change the class code, the stream settings, and whether or not you can view a deleted post. The last one is grading. Basically, just what is grade, how to if you want to change the grade calculation, if you want to add new categories to your grades, stuff like that. Now, this one is enrolling students. So there are two ways to enroll students. You first go to the people section, and you can, just as I said before, you can either click here and then invite them personally using their email, or you can just give them the class code and ask them to join through there. This one is class look and feel. Google has provided a few themes that you can use to customize your classroom so that it can look much more cleaner, or you can also upload your own photo. It is also an option given by Google. The last section we're going to talk about is Google Drive changes. Whenever you create a classroom, a new folder in your Google Drive will show up. It will be named Classroom, and inside here, all the import documents related to your Google Classroom will show up here and take up space. And if you have multiple classrooms, it will show up in multiple folders inside the classroom folder. This is the classroom folder. Inside this is the class folder. Okay, now we have done with setting up. So let's go and do the practical hands-on session for how to create a Google Classroom. Okay, first let me add another account. You need to sign in first. Okay, I've now done signing in. Go to Google Classroom. Just to make sure, are you guys all okay? Can you catch up with what I'm saying? So I think everyone's okay. No questions asked. And now, let us create a class. So there's two options here. This is join class and create class. So let's create a new class. So this is the pop-up I'm talking about. This will say, are you using Classroom at the school with students? Sorry, I clicked out. Then you must set up G Suite for education. If it's not mandatory, but if your school already has their own institution website and with their domain and all, it's much better you do this. But this for education is that you can use Google services with your schools. You can also customize whether or not some students can use what services, like maybe you can disable them to in their student institution email account, they cannot use YouTube. Maybe you can set up that. But that's basically what G Suite for Education is, that it integrates your school with the Google services. Right now, I'm not using a classroom with school, at a school with students, so I just read and understand the above notice. I'm not using at the classroom with students. So continue. So click class. Class name is required. You need this. So I'm just gonna name my class alpha. Section, you can put anything you want here. Usually either their form, short description, or grade. I'm just gonna say form 3. Yeah, subject, maths, room. If your school has a room for their students, has a room for class alpha, just say room for class alpha is floor 2. Room alpha. Okay, that. There's a bit of time here. This usually happens whenever you are creating a new Google Classroom. So now we have the class alpha. Let's do the navigation. Let's see. So here, this is the classes. This here is the calendar. Whenever there's an assignment that you set up for like what date or whatever, it will show up here. Next is the to do. I'll go more into this later on because this is basically a dashboard for you to see whether or not people have done their work. This is my previous classroom. As you can see, this is some assignments that have been not have been turned in but have been graded. Things like that. This you can, when you click either two of these, it will transport you right to the Google Classroom that you have made. This is class alpha, the one that we just made, and this is class beta. Okay, now let's go to the settings. Settings here is different from the settings that for the Google Classroom. This settings is for notifications. So when I enable this, this means that my account right now, this account, will receive email notifications for anything that's happening in this Google Classroom. So let's say a student has turned in their work, I will get a notification in my email, or a student has commented on my post in the Google Classroom, I still get notification email. You can customize whether or not you want to let what notification you want to have in your emails. So let's say I don't want to comment on my post to notify me and comment to mention me to notify me, I can just disable them. And that's it. This is also like classes UT. So let's say there is late submissions. You don't want to check, it just disable. Usually you want to, so just enable it. If you also want to disable a particular class, just go through here and click, drop down this, and see the class notifications. If you don't want for class beta to receive any notification from class beta, you can just disable it here. Right now, this is a public share account between all my members, so I rather not have any email notifications. Because I think that you will just clog up their emails more, so I'm just going to disable it completely. So let's go back to our class alpha. As you can see here, this is the stream. As you can see, the layout is quite similar to how most social media statuses work. Share something with your class, things like that. Still an overview. We will not go a bit deeper. We go a bit deeper later on. Second one is classwork. This is where you assign the work to your class. You can see these are the options: assignment, quiz assignment, question, material, and reuse post, and also topic. Next one is people. Right now there's nobody here. This is the only teacher, and there is also the students. If you want to invite a student, you can just key in their email. Like say my email is Syahmin Badardin. It's not showing up. Yeah, Shafiq ICT, ETP, yeah, that. If I want to invite them, then I'll just click here and an email will be sent to them for them to join my classroom. Or if you have a WhatsApp group and you don't want to privately email all of them, just give them this class code. And whenever they want to join the Google Classroom, they go back here, click join, enter the class code. Easy like that. So let's try adding myself into the class. And I'm just gonna copy this. Join class. This is my other account. Now I'm inside class alpha. This is an account for me as a student. Okay, now let's go back to this. Now you can see the students here is me, my personal account. Okay, now let's go to grades. Right now there's nothing here, but whenever you have created an assignment or something, it will show up here. You can see what statuses are there. Are they turned in? Are they just assigned? No one have turned in their work yet. You can see it here later on. Let's go now to the classroom setting. Okay, no questions yet. Yeah, you can see the class details here. What are the class name? If you want to add a new class description, let's see here, the subject is math class. Now let's go with online math class due to social distancing. You can save it whenever you want. Here is the class code. There's a few here. When you click display, it will show up in a big form. Let's say you are presenting your screen to in a class. You can just click display and everyone will see this class code here and they can type to enter the classroom. This is usually used in a normal school setting when you have a projector to present the Google Classroom to your students. Second one is copy. It does what it does. It is copy the code and you can paste it whenever you want. Next one is reset. Reset means changing the class code. It is randomly set by Google. So when I click reset, it changes to the new class code. Now disable. This means that the only way for people to join a classroom is for you to give an email to them. So if you click disable, people can no longer join your classroom using class codes. But usually we don't do that because you have a way, so better just enable it. Next is the stream setting. What this means is that if you remember one, wait, let's say first. If you remember the stream, yeah, you can, whenever you post something here, you can change the settings whether or not you want to let students post and comment, or students can only comment, or only teachers can post and comment. This is useful in situations where you don't want the Google Classroom to be too chaotic that you cannot control it. And if you only can, or if only you are the one allowed to post and comment, there will be no unnecessary noise in your feed in the Google Classroom. The next one is classwork on the stream. So this means that whenever you create a new assignment, they will show up as a post out in the stream, and you can set the settings here whether or not you want them to have a condensed notification. This means that you don't see the attachment and details. Students have to click on it. It will just show up as a normal small post inside the stream, or show attachment and details. This means that the full details of the assignment will be shown on the stream. Usually this is default setting that Google Classroom provides, is show condensed notification. The hide notification is self-explanatory. It just hides any notifications from the classwork to appear on the stream. Next one is show deleted items. Let's say you delete some posts on the stream, you just enable, and but you still want to see them in case you want to use it, you just enable it. Usually, when people delete their items, they don't want to remember it anymore. So I rather disable it. Important note: only teachers still can view deleted items. Students still cannot see. The next one is grading. These are the few settings that you can set for your grade calculation. Where if there's no overall grade, this means that you just use Google Classroom without grading. It's just for another platform for you uh, to create a connection with your students, to do assignments, to do quizzes. Or if there's total points, this means that you set a total points of how many students need to score to have a grading for them. The other one is weighted by category. This one is, let's say, here I say I add a grade category. Say category first is essays, and essays, its percentage is 50% of your total work. And another one is assignment. Oops. Assignments. This should not be, say 60, I change this to 40. Yeah. So what this means is that your any assignments that has the category assignments set to them have a percentage of 60% of their total points to be calculated. While essays at 40%, that means it is less impactful on the total score. So that's basically what categories mean in here. Okay, still no question. Okay, let's go. Let's just save this because I want to show something later. And save. Let's go to the enrolling students part. I've already shown you. Basically, you just either give the class code or email them. Simple. Next one is class look and feel. This is the place where you can set your class look and feel. If you select theme here, you can see the amount of subjects that the Google has set up for the themes for us. So this is the general. It is not tied to any particular subject. But now we are in a math classroom, so I'll just click this math section, and I'll just want let's say here this color. When I select class theme, it will change quite a lot of the class aesthetics. Right now, for the notification color follows the class themes color. It's now like, I guess it's purplish red. So that's so any new color is now changed to purplish red. Let's say I change my theme to another one. Let's see here, side, this one, geometry. It now changed to a gray color. And any new color coded sections are also now either black or gray. So let's move on to the Google Drive changes that you can see happen in the classroom. Let's see our Google Drive. Let's go to the classroom here folder. Should be clicking now. See, this is the classes that we have made. See, class alpha form 3, the new class that we have made. Okay, so far we are now done with setting up our Google Classroom. And right now we move on to the next section, which is managing Google Classroom. Are there any questions that anyone wants to ask before we move on to this section?
Hello, Mr. Syahmin.
Hello.
Hello, good morning, Mr. Syahmin.
Good morning.
My name is Shafiq. I am a part-time tutor at tuition center at Bangi.
All right.
Okay.
Very ambitious of you, Shafiq.
I have two questions.
Okay.
My first question is, how can students see the invitation through the code? Is it from the link or something? And my second question is, can we invite students from the external domain email, for example, like Yahoo email, Hotmail email, and so on?
Okay. Thank you, Shafiq, for the question. For your first question, which was, if I remember correctly, how to see the students join email or join link or something like that, was it?
Yes.
But this is a private Google account, so this is not a Google Apps for educational account. So whenever students want to see their email, want to see their join link, they just log into their own Google account. This is my Google account here, and type Google Classroom, just like I've shown before. This will bring them to this classroom right here. They will see things like this, whether what accounts they want to use for their Google Classroom. So let's say I have another account, and this is the link. This is join class. The class code, you can usually, teachers should usually use whatever they have using before to communicate with their students. So let's say they have a WhatsApp group. The teachers should just paste the class code of the Google Classroom inside the WhatsApp group and ask the students to join the classroom. Usually like that. Or let's say if we're in a lab and the lab is full of computers and you're doing a session to let your students join the Google Classroom, just like I said before. Let's go back to my here. There is the class code. It will show up on the big screen, and just use this class code and give it to them, and they'll join. It's the same way here, join class. Another one, like I said before, is through personal email invitation. This means that, let's say I want to, there's no here, but if I go here, yeah, this is my personal other email. If I click here and invite this, an email invitation will be sent to my account. Right now it's invited. It's up to him whether or not he wants to accept it. Let's go into my accounts once again. Go to Gmail. See, MindScape MP4. Join here. Okay. So now I've invited. I can just click here and I'll join the class. Join. Okay, for the second question, Shafiq, whether or not external domain, you can invite students for external domain. I'm sure that you cannot, because this Google account is tied to your institution. If you want to invite them, you have to personally invite them through their own mail. Because so if say what I think you can do, it will not show up whenever you are searching for new students inside the student list here, which usually will fill up if you have Google Apps for Education. The external domain will not show up, but if you type their own email and their external domain email, it should show up. But what I'm not sure is whether or not they can accept the join class invitation. But if you use their own private email, they can accept. That's normal people. Does that answer your question, Shafiq?
Thank you, Mr. Syahmin, very clearly.
Welcome. Thank you, Shafiq. Thank you for the answers. Okay, now let's move on to the second part. There's quite a lot to take in here. So if you want to relax a bit, you can do it. Oh my God, what's happening? Are you guys seeing this overlay here? Oh, it's a bit a problem, but it shouldn't be that much of a problem. Okay, let's move on to the second part. This is the futures that are in the Google Classroom. Just topics, announcement, assignment, quiz assignments, question materials, reusing posts, ordering and moving classwork, editing and deleting assignment and dashboard, student communication, and lastly, parent communication. Okay, let's move on to topics. What are topics? Topics can be used to separate your assignment, quiz, and materials according to topics that you want. So let's say you create a topic called week 1. Just put any materials that you have done in week 1 in the topic week 1. Or maybe chapter 1, same procedures as before. Put anything materials that are related to chapter 1 in the chapter 1 topic. Just like before, because I forgot to mention it. Once I've done with this section, I will then do a practical hands-on session. Okay, now let's go to the second one, which are announcements. So this announcement is like updating a status in your Facebook. Basically works the same way as that. So it's there, if you want to make an announcement for the whole class to see, just go to the stream setting and post a new announcement. Second one is assignments. What this is your primary way to grade your students. So you can use this to give them any work that you want them to do, any homework. There are a few settings that you can mess with here. You can say so that it's graded or ungraded. You can attach file or even Google Docs, or you can even attach YouTube videos. And then you can also set the date for your assignment on what time you want them to complete it. The quiz assignment is the same as assignment, but the difference is a quiz form is given. This is actually quite, there's lots of options here, but basically it boils down to 3 things. In the quiz form, you can add questions, you can add answer key, and you can manipulate the quiz settings. This I go through much deeper into this later on when we do the practical hands-on session. Next one is question. This is like almost like assignments, but you can let students answer your questions. Like whenever you done teaching a material or something, you just ask a question here and let the students answer it. They can also attach files here, still allowed. And the new option is that you can answer directly. There's a section in the question itself where you can let students answer it. It is not like assignments where they have to like make a new assignment. It is quite different. This is mostly used for short questions. Okay, now this next one, which is material. It almost has the same layout as assignments because we use the same interface, but materials will not be graded, as you can see from the lack of options here right now. And it is primarily used to give information to students for them to refer when doing assignments or doing questions like that. Next one is reusing post option. When you click reuse post, it will show up, it will pop up a window where you can see any posts that you have made before in other classes or even in the class itself. When you click the class and you can see the assignments that you have made. You can click any of the assignments that you have made and it will show up with almost the same settings as before. And you can just use that post to create a new assignment. If you like have already made a format and don't want to create another new assignment by hand. This will minimize your time a lot and make it easier to do assignments. Next one is editing and deleting. This is basically explanatory. If let's say you made a typo in your classwork, just edit it. You can, or let's say you said the due date wrong, that also can be edited out. You can almost edit the whole features of that classwork post. The next one is deleting. This is again self-explanatory. Just delete the assignment from the classwork. That's it. This is the assignment and dashboard. I've shown this before, which is the to-do list on the top left of your corner, on the top left corner of your screen. So say there are works that people have not turned in yet, or people have not, or teachers haven't graded yet. You can see them here in the dashboard. Next one is student communication. You can usually use this to email your students personally, or you want to email them by clicking all of them. You can just, there's a button, check mark button here. When you click this, all your students will be notified. And when you click an action button here, you can email them all at the same time. You can also use the stream as before to communicate with students, unless you make the setting so that only you can post on the stream, then you cannot communicate there. You can also, once again, communicate on the classwork, because in the classwork itself, there's also a comment section for students to reply or to give feedback to. And the last one is parent communication. This is only for Google for Education. You need to have an institute domain to work, and it is mostly only for emailing the guardians of their parents. Right now, I don't really have a place to set up my Google Institute for Education, so you will not see this feature at work. But through this feature, you can invite the parents to the classroom as well. Let's say if they want to see the what work are they being assigned to, how what posts are made in the stream, announcements, things like that. So I think that's all. Before we move on to the practical hands-on, is there any question?
Hello, Syahmin.
Hello.
I'm Maimunah here from Sarawak.
All right, thank you. Hello,
I'm
Maimunah.
interested in that parent communication. How do you communicate with parent? Do you have all the email address of parents or by phone on?
Usually in the Google for Education, let's say you already set up an institute domain to work with Google Classroom, the parents' email will also show up on the section of the enrolling students. It will show up there. So if you want to see the parents of the students, there's an option in the settings there to email their parents or guardians, or if you want to invite them to their classwork. It's not usually on the phone, but because this is Google for the education only, if you use a private Google account without setting up a G Suite for Education for your Google Classroom, you can also use whatever system you have used before to contact their parents.
Oh, meaning that the student cannot escape once they are enrolled for this program. Okay, that's good. Thank you.
All right, welcome. Okay, let's now move on to the practical hands-on session. I'm stuttering quite a lot. Okay. First, let's go to the topics. So let's say here I want to create chapter 1. Here is another topic, chapter 2. Okay, now let's say I've misarranged the chapters here. So in case I've misarranged, let's say you accidentally created chapter 1 first before chapter 1. If you accidentally create chapter 3 first before chapter 1, you can just drag and drop here. And if it shows like this kind of box icon, you can just drag and drop here. Now all your chapters are aligned, organized properly. So that's basically what topics does. This is way to separate your assignments from let's say assignments for chapter 1 is for only for topic in chapter 1, chapter 2, and vice versa. Okay. so on. Let's now move on to the assignment. So basically the mandatory part assignment is to have the title. Let's say I want to create a small assignment. I will not go, first of all, I will not go too deep into this because later on in the next session, you can see much more detailed view of how assignments and all the things, other things I explain work. I just go through what are the settings and what are the things you need to know before you go on to that session. So here is the title. Let's say I want to make an assignment called assignment 1. Instruction optional. Any. So let's say you want to let your students to refer to textbook page 12 to 13. Things like that. So question 1, please do 1A C. So now if you want to create a new docs for them to do their work here, you can just click here, docs. And inside here, there are 2 options. Three. There is students can view file. They cannot edit this file. They can just view this file. So let's say you have let's say in a situation of test, you can just put your test questions here and say that students can view their file. Students can edit their file. This means that this singular file can be edited by all the students. Another one is make a copy for each student. What this means is that you will give this document. Right now it's untitled, but you can add any document that you want. You can just make a copy for each student. Each student will have their own copy, and whenever they edit that, it only reflects in their own document. It will not reflect in other students' document. That is basically what make a copy for each student means. Now let's say this here is add. This is attachment button. You want to add anything from your Google Drive, or you want to add a link to a particular website for them to refer to, or you can add a file from your own computer. You can just click here. You can drag and drop files. And the one is YouTube. You want to put a YouTube video as a reference here. You can also do it. Let's go to the settings on the right. This you can set for what classes you want to send the assignment for. Right now we in class alpha, so it default checks class alpha. And let's say what students you want to send them. Usually it also default checks all students. If you want to give only to this student, you can just click that, and it will just show up. This assignment will only show up for this student. Other students will not get the assignment that I'm currently assigning. But right now, let's just assign it to all. This is the grade category. So this is now weighted by assignments. That means it's 60% more value. The points is 60% weighted. You can set what points. Usually, it default as 100, but you can set this to either 250, whatever you want. I'm just going to put it at 100. When you click ungraded, it means this assignment will not be graded. So it can be used to like test your students' skills or things like that. But Usually assignments are once again graded. This here is a due date. You want to set a due date for your assignment, just click here and then it will show up the calendar. Let's say today is 4th of July. Let's say I want on here, July 6th, and there is optional button if you want to set the time of when the assignment will be expired. It defaults to 11:59 p.m. This means that at the end of the day, or you can just set 2 p.m. And now, if the assignment has not been turned in before 2 p.m., it will expire, and if there is late submission, it will tell you. This is topic where or like what topic you want this assignment to be in. So let's just go with chapter 1. Now this rubric, you can create the rubric for your assignments or use the rubric from previous classes, or you can also import from sheets. Okay, now I'm gonna assign this assignment 1. Now it shows up in chapter 1, assignment 1. Just like that. Okay, now let's go to the quiz assignment. Same as before. I will not assign this, but I will show you how the quiz form works. I'm going to click blank quiz here. It will show up in a new form, Google quiz form for you to set up. You can change the name here. Say this is quiz 2. Quiz 2. Say any description, refer to chapter 2, examples. So there are a few options here. This is the question that you ask, or let's say, so what's 1 plus 1 equal to what? Sorry, equal to what? This is a multiple choice question. You can set up quite a lot of other options. There's check boxes, drop down, the short answer, paragraph, file upload. So let's say you want people to upload a file for that quiz. You can use here linear scale, multiple choice grid, all of these. All these options can be done. Let's just add another option here for multiple choice. So here, is 2, 3, 4, 5. The important points are this, the name, and now let's see the answer key. Answer key lets you check which is the correct answer. This is a multiple choice, so it should only have 2. Or if there's multiple choice have multiple right answers, you can just click all these 3 if you want. You have to also set a point. So let's say here is this question in particular is 50 points. Just do that. Add the answer feedback. So there are 2 options here. This feedback will show up in case the student click the wrong answer. So say 1 plus 1 equal to 2. Just save it and done. Now that you have done all this, let's say you want to use the same format for another question, just click here and click duplicate. Now there's another question here with the same exact format as here. Be sure to also check your answer key because it also shares the same answer key. So let's say right now here I'm 1 plus 2 equal to. I change this to this. Also change the feedback. And save. So that's the how to duplicate. Or let's say you duplicated one more. You don't want this, just delete this here, it will delete that. This also means so that people have to answer this question. This is what the required option is here. You should just, usually in the quiz section, you should just turn this on so that people will not skip question and use points. There is also quite a few other options here. You can add more question here, or you want to import. So when I click add question, a new question will pop up with no format, just like that. If you want to import question from another quiz, you can just click here also. This will add a new title and description. Let's say there's in this quiz here, there's like 2 sections. Just put here. There's images also. So let's say if you want to put image on your question, just click this image, this video, and lastly there's another one for another section if you want to make another quiz inside your quiz form. And that's basically all done. Let's preview our quiz. So let's say here 1 + 1 = 2. Let's answer this wrongly. Click submit. Then I view my scores. So here 1 + 1. This is correct answer. It will show up as right. Here is 1 + 2. It's wrong. So the feedback will show you the correct answer, and whatever feedback you have made there to explain how or why he got the wrong answer. So that's basically it. And then this is the responses, which means this will show up a static summary of your responses. You can see the questions that you have made, or you can check the individual progress of each responses. So right now there's only 1 responses here. If there's 11, it will show up 11 here. So that's basically it. This is many settings. Right now it's actually quite a lot, and I think our time might be a bit too much for this, but I'll just explain briefly. What this means for quiz form is that when you click here collect email addresses, you will receive the email addresses of responses of your quiz. What they call signing is that you, when for each account, there's only 1 response that they can submit. This edit after submit, whether or not you want to let them edit or let them see the summary charts and touch responses. Same here. If you want them after done the presentation, whether or not you want to show them to link to submit another response, a confirmation message that the response has been done, or you want to shuffle question order, or to show the progress bar. Finally, the quizzes. So when you make this a quiz, it will auto grade them. You can also check the setting whether or not you want to immediately grade it after each submission, or you to do it later after you manually review the quizzes. Let's say just save here. Now all the changes are saved in Drive. Let's add, because we already created that quiz. Let's just go and click the recent. Let's see, here is quiz 2. This is the quiz that I've submitted. And whenever you want to send it, you just reuse this quiz 2 and maybe edit it if you want. I not assign this here because it's too much. Next one is question. Question is almost the same as assignments. You can see the set what question you want. Let's say 3 + 2. Oh, sorry, is 2 equal. You want to let them answer a short answer. This later on when people click on this, there will be a section for them to answer the question. This is still the same. Whether or not you want to let them refer to a textbook page or any other instructions that you might add for them to help answer the question. The attachment and the creation of the Google Docs are still the same. This is still also the same. Whether you want to set it as essays, assignment, or no category. If there's no category, it will not grade it. But if you set your settings inside the Google settings for them to have no grade, then there will not be a problem. because then it will just grade it as normal. Again, due date, same topic, what topic you want to set them in, topic 2. This is the options whether or not you want students to reply to each other or students to edit the answers. You will see more of this later in the next session, because in the next session there will be a section called student view. So you will explain more there. Just briefly show you how these features work. The next one is material. Material are automatically ungraded. You cannot use them to grade students. This is mainly for you to give materials to them to refer to. Let's say you want to add a YouTube video, just click add here and give the link. So you can search the YouTube video that you want, and then it will add here for them to search. Next one is reuse post. So I want to reuse my assignment 1 format. You can just click here, class alpha, and I want to click class assignment 1. You need to create this checkbox here if you want to create new copies of whatever attachment that you have created in this assignment 1. So I click reuse here. Now everything is the same format as the one that I have made before. So now let's change this to assignment 2. Refer to page 32 and 33. Or it is all the settings that say is still assignments, points are still 100, no due date. Like that. So yeah, and now let's just set the due date here, 7, without a time limit. Topic is chapter 2. Let's assign. So there is the assignment 2 there. So this will help you greatly if you want to reuse a format that you have made before. Just click reuse post. So let's go to the next section, which is student communication. Oh wait, first, I forgot. This is the way to edit and delete your post. So let's say here, this is chapter 3. It should be chapter 3. So when I rename it, just rename it to here, chapter 3, edit. That is usually for topics. Or I want to delete this topic, I just click here, delete. It will delete. Let's say there are posts inside here. When you delete a topic, that post will not be deleted. You have to delete them separately. Let's say here, my assignment 2, I want to edit. It will show up the same. Let's say I forgot to add the time here. Then just put the time again here. And it will show up in the new edited post. See. There you go. Date due July 7, 2 p.m. Posted. So now let's go here and delete this post to show you how it works. I click delete. There's a confirmation here. When you click here, all your may delete it. Any grades or any comments on this post will also be deleted. So when I click delete, will be gone. That's it. Okay, now let's move on to the next section, which is assignment and dashboard. This is what I said before. When you click to review list, it will show up the summary view of what works you need to review, what works have been turned in or not been turned in. So let's say here, I've assigned two assignments. It is assigned to 2 students. So that's why there's 2 assigned here. This is the students I've been assigned to. And whenever they have turned in, it will show up here. It will show up here, sorry. So right now in quiz 1, in my other class, there's one person turned in, but I haven't checked yet. So that's it for me to check later. And this here on the most right, here is graded. Right now, for these two, because no one turned in yet, so there's no grading option. But once someone has turned in, the grade will be shown on the right side here. So here there is 2 people that I've graded, and there's another 2 people that that have not turned in. So that's the assignment and dashboard view. The next one is student communication. So let's say here I want to share with my class, hey guys. So I post it. If I want to communicate with my students, I just go to my student account, click here. Oh, right now I can do nothing, because if you remember, I've set my option so that only teachers can post a comment. So that's why no option for me to comment from the student side. Now I save it. Now let's refresh it. Now I can comment. Hello teacher. This is one of the ways that you can communicate with your students. And if you see classwork, I can also review this assignment. This is from the student view. Later on in the next session by my colleague, you will see more on how exactly the student view works. Right now, this is just a preview of how usually the student view are. So there's the class comment. I want to say, will do teacher. So that's one of the ways that you can communicate with students. The other one is people. Let's say here I want to email this student. When I click the email, it will show up. The 2 email is now to that particular student. You can add any subject that you want. Just like how you do a normal email for that. Let's say if you want to email all students, just click email here. All the students' name will be in the BCC section. So let's say you want to see a particular student, you can just say I want to send this to another email account. So same again. So like how you would compose a normal email. Like just before, right now I don't have the parents communication, but as I said to Miss Maimunah before, there's a section here that will show up for you to communicate with the guardians or parents of that said student. It will usually show up if you have set up a Google G Suite for education for your institution, and whatever email that have been entered into your institution system will show up here, right in this corner for you to contact them. Okay, that's basically all of the how to manage your Google Classroom. So first of all, I would like to thank every single one of the participants for enduring this session. Hopefully, once you have learned this course, you know more about the Google Classroom itself and how to set up it and how to manage it.
Hello, Shafiq.
Hello.
Oh, hello, Syahmin. Sorry.
Okay.
Yeah, sorry. From Sarawak again. I
Yeah.
want to ask on the file attached, the document which you attach to the student.
Yeah.
Have it be in any format, or can it be in PDF or Excel or Words or any format? Question one. Two is that quizzes that you have the questionnaire on the quizzes. Can be used for running a survey also?
For the quizzes, let's say with the first question first, whether or not you can upload PDF or Word documents like that, you can. You can
because you
actually.
mentioned just now that student cannot amend or change whatever file that.
Those are for Google Services documents usually.
Google Services document.
So like Google Docs, Google Sheets, Google.
Oh, okay.
If you want to like say upload a PDF file, you can let's say I show you, say a PDF file in Classroom. See here, right? I edit it. Just add here. Add a file from your own computer. So select first from your device and then go to your desktop. Let's say MindScape here. There's images. I know I only have images, but you can also upload PDF file.
PDF can, huh?
Yeah.
Okay.
Just upload. It show up here as another file. So students can view file, can edit it, but there's no option for students to get a copy because this is like an external file, separate from Google. All right.
Yeah. Okay.
For the second one, which what is it? I've a bit forgot a bit of the details.
The quiz, the question.
Oh yeah, the quiz.
Quiz, can it use for running a survey?
If you want to make it as a survey, I can. So you just need to set the quiz as ungraded. So this will be ungraded. So people will see it as you have to tell them because this is still a Google form quiz. But if you set it ungraded, then it will not be graded. It will not be graded. So let's say you want to create a survey to test your students' attention, just click here lah.
Okay, and I can monitor also in case I send it to 100 and I can see who have sent or who have not responded.
Yeah,
can I do
there's
that?
There's because it's basically the same as Google Forms, so you can see the responses there.
Oh, okay.
Forgot to put on this Q&A session.
I'm not saying so. Okay, can I ask another question? Sorry.
All right. Okay.
Okay, what's the question just now? The third question is okay. The sequence of the quiz. For example, if you have part 1, you have 5 questions. Part 2, you have 3. Part 3, you have 1 or 2 questions. Can we strict it? You have to go to follow the sequence, not like student can choose. Okay, katakan student choose to complete part 1 first, and then he or she opt to do part 2 but skip to part 3. Can we set it as mandatory? You have to follow this. If you have not completed part 1, you cannot go to part 3 direct. Go to the sequence part 2. Can it be set like that?
So like, is it like pages something? Like in the Google form there's pages. I'm not sure yet because I'll get back to you on that. Because
katakan we set it as compulsory. You have to follow this sequence if you answer the question.
Sorry about it. I have no example quizzes to show that function, but usually it's section and I'm not sure. I'm sorry. I cannot get to you on that.
Okay, you get to me at the end of the day.
Okay. Yeah, I'll
come back end of the day. You owe me that answer.
All right.
You or your team.
Oh, can I just email that?
Email?
Yeah.
You email to me, and how about the rest? I'm sure they would like to know the answer also.
Oh, okay. All right.
Okay, sure. You can email me.
I just email my colleagues so that they will send my responses to their own WhatsApp.
Oh yeah. Okay. Thank you.
Welcome. Okay. Is there anything else? Anyone else?
Mr. Syahmin.
Hello, Shafi. I remember your voice.
Okay, it's me, Shafiq again. I would like to ask a question regarding to the quiz. Can we create a randomized quiz like we have like 2 sets, 3 sets, and we distribute to the student randomly, so that they wouldn't have lower the chance to copy the test. That's all.
I don't think so, because there's only one quiz that you made. If you want to do that, then you have to, why is it not showing? Let's say before this, you have to shuffle the question order. If you want to like do a randomizer, I'm not sure you can, but you can, like I said before, let's say you create 3 sets of quiz. You can specify what student will receive what quizzes and receive what let's say here, this student here, so if I say we receive quiz 1, and another one receive quiz 2. If you want to make your life easier, you just use the reuse post option, so that you can make your format much easier. So I don't think you can randomize it.
I see. Thank you.
Hello, Yasi. Oops. Okay, that's all. Any other question? I mean, I will get back to you as soon as possible.
Yeah, sure. Thank you.
No question for the next. For the next no, just if there's no question or anything, I think I'll just end this session. Let me get back to my moderator so that we can end the session properly.